in the minds and the states of these little ones who do not know that there is a bigger picture when it comes to their education. And some teachers strive just to cover up the scheme of work in order to facilitate what you call a bulky curriculum. How sad is that? And I hope I am being joined by Mrs. Sarah, and she's going to join us soon so we can talk more about it, because I am curious to know about the performance of these children who follow the curriculum or are behind curriculum or ahead of the curriculum. And she mentioned, and she said, the educational sector are not lackadaisical when it comes to the curriculum in the FCT, because they have tried to unify the curriculum when it has to do with public and private schools. All public schools, she mentioned, are all in line with the same textbooks. But I think I beg to differ, because there are some public schools who use different textbooks compared to other public schools. Well, I don't know. I'll just have to ask Mrs. Sarah, and she'll throw more light, especially when it comes to the performance of the children. That is one of the most important. You know, the curriculum, as we say, some parents do not understand that their kids actually fall short of the curriculum or the standard in which is given or portrayed in a particular school in which they're in. Some parents do not understand that a curriculum is part of the everyday learning of an individual in school. It has to be taken very seriously, especially when it comes to the growth of our children. And I'm joined by Mrs. Sarah Yachi, and she's with me now. Hello, ma'am. Are you here with me now?
Good afternoon once again, ma'am.
Good afternoon. And we've spoken extensively when it comes to the curriculum, because it's a very serious factor when it comes to the educational growth of our children in school. Now, I am curious about knowing about the performance. How has it affected the performance of the children in any way, or it has downgraded the performance or increased performance when it comes to when curriculum is not unified in schools?
Yes, when curriculum is not unified in schools, it has a way of downgrading the performance of those that are disadvantaged, especially the learners at the grassroots. Because most times when you have learners within the urban area, the teachers are exposed to the internet facility and they tend to do a lot more in adding more ideas on the curriculum. But the learners at the grassroots may not have that advantage because the teachers are not opened to have such facility. And I believe it has a way of, affecting the performance, because you see, curriculum has to do with teacher-made materials, the kind of textbooks, and also the national standard of the state education. But where the teacher does not have facility, does not have material, it has a way of affecting the impact of whatever they are teaching. So I believe largely that once the curriculum is not unified, it has a way of affecting those ones who don't have access to getting extra information on the internet.
You know, Mrs. Sarah, some parents do not actually understand the efficacy when it comes to curriculum. Some parents are very lackadaisical. I'm sure you've not, as any parent walked up to you and said, can I have the curriculum of your school so that I can go through with my word, or will I say my child, when it comes to things like this? Most parents are unaware. They don't ask questions. Is it something that I can throw a blind eye, or it's of importance that I should know the curriculum that is being provided by the school for my child in school?
It is important that every parent get involved, because you see, training a child should not be left to as the responsibility of the school. Bringing up a child or getting a perfect curriculum has to do with the school, the parents, because there is also curriculum that has to do with outside school. The children also tend to learn other things from home. So we expect that every parent should get involved. Not so many parents even know what we do in school. When we have issues, even when you give homework, They are not there to support their children, and it is affecting us as a school. So if it is possible for us to create awareness, let every parent know that they are supposed to be involved in the curriculum of the school where their children attend. They are to know what the children are being taught, the kind of textbooks that are being used. It is only when you are aware of the curriculum that you can check if the textbook, aligns with the curriculum of the school. So it is very important. You shouldn't turn a blind eye at all. I think the parents should be involved. It will give us better outcome in our education system.
Now, I want to know, what's the difference between scheme of work and the curriculum? Are they the same, or one differs from one, or they're just one and the same?
The curriculum is a wider expectation we hope to achieve. The curriculum covers for all the topics in a particular term, and it also involves other extracurricular activities that the students are to engage in. But the scheme of work is a breakdown of those topics in the curriculum, what a teacher is expected to accomplish, to teach a learner every week. That scheme of work breaks it down to topic by topic, week by week, for a teacher to accomplish. But the curriculum is the is a wider coverage of all the topics that a learner is expected to learn at the end of the term or a session. Each arm of a school has its own curriculum, and this curriculum is being developed by either the state or the nation, depending on the format being used in every nation. But all I can say is that it covers a wider range of topics that is expected to be covered. But for the scheme of work, it breaks it down to topic by topic, and it is being handled by the teacher. You are supposed to cover these topics by weeks.
Okay, now I want to ask a question, and I'm sure so many individuals out there want to ask the same thing. Are there any advantage or disadvantage when it comes to schools who go above and beyond outside the school curriculum, and some that go below the school curriculum? Are there advantages or disadvantages?
Well, I think we have more of advantages when schools go above the curriculum, because it makes your students, your learners, to become smarter. There are so many things you will teach them that if you stay within the curriculum, they may not know. And most times we prepare learners, especially for international examinations or competition. That's why we go above the curriculum. But for those who are going below the curriculum, like I said, especially for the learners at the grassroots, they have a lot of disadvantage, because most times we see that when
Oh, Mrs. Sarah, I'm sure we'll join back with Mrs. Sarah, and I'm sure she will join us in shortly. Miss Sarah, are you here? Mrs. Sarah, are you with us? Still looking about on the advantage and disadvantage when it comes to curriculum. Like I mentioned, some schools go above and beyond to actually go past the curriculum, and so some just go below. And then Ms. Sarah says it's more advantageous when you go above, because it helps the child become smarter, it helps the child to keep up with international standards. But I need to ask one very sensitive question, and the question I really need to ask is, what happens when people say it's too advanced for a child in primary 2, or will I say KG2 or kindergarten 2, who learns what a primary 4 class is being taught? Is that supposed to help the child in any way? Remember how the brain works, especially the brain of children. It has to be a step-by-step issue. That's the question I would love to ask Mrs. Sarah when she joins us in shortly. Let's quickly go on a quick break. Inside Today, we'll be back. Don't go anywhere. You're welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is Inside Today on Global Television, and today we're looking at education, the curriculums, looking at unifying curriculum in our society, and I am joined by the head teacher of Naowa Model Primary School, Mrs. Sarah Ali Yachi. And hi, are you here with us, Miss Sarah? Hello?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Good
Okay, before we
afternoon
went
once
on that
again.
break, I'll call it a break. I do not know
Hello,
what's
I'm
going on
here.
today. Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you loud and clear. I'm with you. So, Mrs. Sarah, I want to know, there's
Yes.
sometimes when parents will go through a textbook and they'll say, this particular book is too advanced. It's too advanced for this little child. It's too advanced. It's too advanced. Your school should know better than to give you this sort of multiple tables of subtraction or addition for a little child. Is there anything like being too advanced when it comes to the curriculum that is being followed in school? Remember a child's brain, can pick up things, but at its own pace. Is it possible that a textbook or a book which is being used in school can be too
Yeah.
advanced for that child, especially when it has to do with the curriculum?
Well, you see, the way parents look at textbooks differs. And largely, there is no school that will bring a textbook that is too advanced for their learners because we all follow the same curriculum. It's just that some people decide to go extra mile because they want to set a standard. So sometimes when parents complain that way, it is lack of understanding, if I may say. That parent may not understand. They look at the age of the child and they believe, oh, this multiplication table is too advanced, it's too high. But most times, schools do not go.
Oh, I'm sure Mrs. Sarah Zulu Ali, yeah, actually will be joining us. Unfortunately, it's just a little bit of technical issues. I'm sure she will expatiate more on the advanced or not being advanced, because so many parents have witnessed that kids bring in assignments. I don't know why there's a smirk on my face, because I don't think I'm guilty when it comes to that. And you just wonder, what sort of maths is this? I didn't do this sort of maths when I was in school. Why is it so? It's too advanced for a child. So I just needed her to break that up a bit, because there's so many parents out there who actually struggle with these assignments who are giving, okay? And we wonder, is this part of the curriculum, or is your school going outside the box when it comes to giving a pattern when it comes to the curriculum? I really needed to know. Mrs. Sarah, are you here with us? Miss Sarah, are you here? Okay, and of course, she has tried as much as possible to throw more light when it comes to curriculum, how important it is for parents to get involved. That part is one of the highlights today I picked. It's very important that when you go into a new school or when you're starting the year afresh, of course, kids have been on holiday due to the festivity, and now that they're back in school, you owe it to them as a parent, as a guardian, as a caregiver, to walk up to the school authorities and ask, what is the curriculum for this term? It's very important that you follow up and know if the books mentioned are what is required and what is needed and what is used. It's very important that we put all hands on deck when it comes to the curriculum for the well-being of our children and these amazing future leaders of the society. And Mrs. Sarah Zulu Ali has been able to break that down for us. Unfortunately, we're trying to get back for her to answer one more question before she says bye-bye, but I'm sure she will join us in shortly. So looking at the curriculum of schools, how important it is for the educational sector to try, send a monitoring committee to actually find out schools that are not in line with the curriculum. It is a serious matter, because you cannot, it's not fair for parents or guardians or caregivers who go outside their way to actually pay fees, and at the end they do not get the worth for their money, or they do not get quantity when it comes to education. It is really, really sad when you see parents and they're not getting what they bargained for. So it's very important that schools need to sit up and follow the curriculums that has been laid down, not falling short below standards. And I hear I'm joined by Mrs. Sarah. Miss Sarah, are you with me? Hello, are you here? Can you hear me? Miss Sarah. All right, I think we have a little
Yes, I
bit.
can hear you now. I
Okay,
can hear
so
you.
you were saying you can quickly finish up what you were talking about when it comes about being too advanced. You know, I said it with a smile on my face because there are so many there are so many parents that fall on this
I'm
table
guilty.
when children bring in assignments and we say to ourselves, what is this? We were not taught this. You're just in primary 3. What are they teaching you? This is too advanced. This is too advanced. When it comes to quantitative, I'm laughing because I'm
Yeah.
calling out subjects. You know, there's so many parents who say it. I've heard parents when we come together and we say, what is this? Are you kidding me right now? This is too advanced. This is not what we thought. But is there anything like being too advanced when it comes to the curriculum and, of course, textbooks that are being used in the primary? We're not even talking about secondary because that is a whole new table that we will be looking at. But looking at it, is there anything like being too advanced when it comes to their textbooks?
No, there's nothing to advance because you see, the child's brain is like the way you can just stretch a rubber band. That is the way the brain works. So the brain has enough capacity to assimilate whatever you want it to. Now, you see, most times parents complain because they don't really understand what we do in school. And then this quantitative, that is part of what the Ministry of Education has put in as critical thinking. You have to think well before you solve that equation. It's not like the normal mathematics we do in those days. Okay, you are able to multiply or divide. But quantitative reasoning has to do with your mental reasoning ability. So it is not too advanced because there is no school that we go to get, to overload. But at the same time, the child's brain is elastic and it can assimilate as much as you want it to, but not to the level of breakage. Now, I want all parents to be involved in their children's activity in school because if a parent is already guided and you are aware of the curriculum that we have, when a child will now come home with such homework, you will not be surprised because you know, okay, this is in their curriculum. And of course, we go by the national standard, either the national or state standard. That is the curriculum we all have in schools. And the only thing extra is for those private schools who go extra mile, they add a few things from the British curriculum just to blend it with the Nigerian curriculum. But so far, I know most schools within the urban areas are doing very well. And I think what is affecting the rural area is they don't have facility and, of course, teachers' materials, because the curriculum also has to do with teachers' materials. That is the only way you can impact the young learners.
Now, I want to ask a question, and this is very key. Now, how well do you think we can unify the curriculum without disrupting the lives of our children? Is it possible to actually come together unified in the same state, outside the state, just to unify this curriculum for everyone to be on the same pace without disrupting the lives of our children? How can we go about it?
It is possible if the government decides to do it. I know it is cumbersome, like I said earlier, that one of the issues we have is that our curriculums have not been reviewed for a while now. And because of the changing trends, we need to review curriculum time and over again. It is possible, it is cumbersome, and it will have some financial implications, but I believe if the government should launch out to do it, they can accomplish it so that all the schools be unified and they can put up a body of some kind of educational body to monitor all the curriculums in all these schools. And then for the private schools, what they want is to stand out, because of course, if you don't deliver and there's nothing extraordinary you are doing, there's no how I can bring my child to spend so much money. So I think the main thing we should do is to unify, and it is possible. If the government wants to do it, they can accomplish it, and also to put something like quality assurance control team to go around schools to monitor the kind of curriculum we all use. That will also help to bring uniformity within the educational system.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Sarah Ali Yassim. Thank you for being a part of Insight today. And of course, Mrs. Sarah Zara Achim is the head teacher of Naowa Nursery and Primary School in Asokoro. Thank you so much for being a part of Insight today. You have taught us and we have learned a lot. It's reaching out to the students, reaching out to the parents on how they should be part and parcel when it comes to. Thank you for being a part of the program.
Thank you so much.
And at this point, I have to wrap it up on the program Insight today. We've heard a lot and we have learned a lot when it comes to parents being a part of the deal, when it comes to finding out the curriculum of their wards in their various schools. And she spoke to the government also why it's important to unify the curriculum for all our children to be at the same pace. And when it comes to private, when it comes to public schools, there should be a monitoring committee to see that these various schools are practicing the unified curriculum for the benefit for all our children. And with that, I have to wrap it up. Remember, it is very important that all hands should be on deck. It's not only the government alone, but the school authorities who are involved and also parents. They're the ones that can actually create this awareness by coming together and ensuring that these schools do the needful when it comes to what they are paying for and what they are getting in return. And with that, I have to wrap it up. I am Jumai Manson. Join me same time tomorrow on the program Inside Today on Global Television. Don't go anywhere and have a beautiful day ahead. Bye-bye.